What's up everybody, Danny's here and we are back at it again with another video. But before we get into it, make sure you guys check out all the links in the description below. So, I would like to say Merry Christmas to everyone because I would like to know, what is your favorite game you guys like to play for Christmas? I would like to know in the comments below. And now, this is what I'm going to talk about. The Nintendo 64 will turn 30 years old in 2026. Now, the Nintendo 64 was released back in 1996. After 5 years of the Super Nintendo, the SNES, it was between 1981 and now like 1999, something like that, definitely. But the Nintendo 64 was the best retro console everyone has played. I know I have played the Nintendo 64 before, and I played the Nintendo 64 on the Nintendo Switch. I never noticed that by now, but I like to play the Nintendo 64. My favorite N64 games I like to play would be Super Mario 64, GoldenEye 007, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Smash Bros. 64, and also Pilot Wings 64. Now, I believe that Mario Kart 64 is also one of my favorite Mario Kart games I like to play on the Nintendo 64. And there's Zelda Majora's Mask. That's one of my favorite games I like to play. And also, I like Banjo-Kazooie. Now, let me know, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 game you guys like to play? I would like to know in the comments below. So, I think it's been 30 years of the Nintendo 64. I think Nintendo would be excited to celebrate Nintendo 64 30th anniversary because the Nintendo 64 was one of the best consoles Nintendo has released, or aka one of the best retro consoles. And I think the one video game that was way popular on the Nintendo 64 would be Super Mario 64, because this was the first game that comes to mind when I see the Nintendo 64. Because Super Mario 64 was released back in 1996, but Zelda Ocarina of Time was released back in 1988. And there's also Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, because Mario Party 1 was released in 1999, Mario Party 2, which was released in 2000, and Mario Party 3, which was in 2001. So the Nintendo 64 was a great console, and although I think the Nintendo 64 almost gave me a GameCube graphic feeling. I mean, the Nintendo GameCube was, I think they've had the gameplay graphics that looked a lot like the version of the Nintendo 64, but the Nintendo 64 looked a lot like the Nintendo GameCube versions. Same, but different. But I think the Nintendo GameCube and the Nintendo 64, they both have different versions, kind of. They have like the same thing, like Animal Crossing. It does look a lot like the Nintendo 64 version, but it's a GameCube version, Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube. But I would like to see Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, as you may know, speaking of the Nintendo Switch 2, the Nintendo 64 is also on the Nintendo Switch 2 with features that you may get once you have the Switch 2, but these are the features you may not get if you don't have a Nintendo Switch 2, which makes a lot of sense though, definitely, because the Nintendo Switch 2 has lots of features than the Nintendo Switch 1 has, definitely. So there's new features for the Nintendo 64, like the rewind feature. That's only for the Nintendo Switch 2. So the rewind feature is not compatible with the Nintendo Switch 1, but also, it's also compatible on the Switch 2. The CRT filter is only compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2 on the Nintendo 64. It's also compatible on the Nintendo GameCube as well, though, on the Nintendo Switch 2. And also Virtual Boy will have the same thing. The Virtual Boy will have the CRT filter on the Nintendo Switch and on the Nintendo Switch 2, definitely. So, the Nintendo 64 will be turning 30 years old in 2026. Let me know, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 game you guys like to play? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you guys are new to this channel. Make sure to hit that bell notification every time you get notified when I post a video. Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace!